we'll start with our team, the Toronto
Yeah.
Raptors. After a rough first game that was painful to watch, one of the best defensive games I've seen them play in a long time happened last night, and Scottie Barnes scored 25 points with 13 rebounds in a game that I didn't think he was going to have for at least halfway into his rookie season.
Yeah, that's the Raptors Celtics game. Scottie Barnes just took over. He had like 25 and 13, but it was like he got the 25 from like putbacks, you know what I mean? Like cuts to the rim. He was getting nice playmaking involved. Like he was just showing that he was the best rookie of the class. Like that's how it felt watching him yesterday. And another thing to shout out, even though the Raptors did lose that first game, they did hold the Wizards to under 100 points. So that means their first game, 98 points, they got scored on them, and the second game, 83 points. So this whole being 6'9", having long defenders and having all this length is definitely helping out their defensive end. Uh, we were having some OG Anunoby struggles, but that is expected because this is the first time he has that whole like you're the guy potential like focus, like everyone's focusing in on him. But it's good to see the other guys step up and play to their potential.
Yeah, I think it's just going to take a little bit of time for OG. Like, you could see in the first game, like he wanted to get to these shots that he's been working on over the offseason, like the step backs and the pull ups and stuff like that, and they just weren't going in. They're going to start going in. It looks like he's maybe a little bit out of rhythm, but the defense has been unreal. Having all that length out there, we see even Them Birch and Precious Achiuwa switching out on the perimeter, doing a really good job. Gary Trent's gotten like a bunch of steals through the first two games, had a really good game offensively last game too. So defensively, it looks really good. The rebounding hasn't even been that bad. The offensive rebounding has been really good, especially
Yeah,
with Scottie Barnes. So like you said, a lot of the points he was getting were hustle points. He had a couple of nice, created
shots. Yeah,
half court shots there too, but for the most part, just like out hustling everyone. And he was the standout player, even ahead of like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown in that game.
yeah. And I was listening to the Celtics commentary for some reason. I don't know why, but they're always like, I didn't know Scottie Barnes could shoot like that. And it was kind of true. Like he had some nice shots where it's like, oh man, like this guy can actually shoot like that. And it just shows that he's not a player like that's like a Ben Simmons who's like afraid to shoot. Like he will keep shooting, keep shooting, keep shooting until he gets better and better every single year. He'll put in the off season work. Like he's one of those type of players, and that's one of the reasons they drafted him, right? Because he knows he's shown that determination and like will to get better and be the best of him he can. And it's been great so far. He's averaging what, like 18 and a half and like 11 boards. Like he's been doing great. Another kind of low point is Fred VanVleet. Even though Freddie's not having the greatest games, he's is like facilitating more. He's doing all that. His shot's just not falling. He's doing great on the defensive end. 2 steals, 1 block, 3 steals, 1 block. So he's pitching in all around the court. He just can't get his shot to go down, and it will go down because even though he shot bad last year, like 39%, he still averaged 19.6, right? So like he is a scorer. He's not going to just be averaging 11.5. So that's going to get better. Another thing to point out is the lack of like a big center to just like help out defensive rebounds is hurting them. But as you pointed out, their mobile centers are really helping the offensive board because they're able to like chase those long forwards better, able to like go for those better. Another question is, do they start Birch now? Because Birch had an amazing game too compared to Precious. But you want to develop Precious, so there's always a toss up there. But man, the Raptors are looking good. They're looking exciting, and no one after these first two games could say the Raptors aren't going to be like a competitive team. I don't know what that means because sometimes you could be competitive and just get unlucky, miss the game winners like kind of last year, and you can still be in the bottom half of the thing, or those game winners start falling in, stuff start rolling in, you're in the top end or like, sixth spot, right? So it's gonna be a fun team. We're gonna watch a couple of their games. We're going to the Nets game and the Celtics game. So hopefully they have another performance like this against the Celtics where they go out and go great crazy wins. But man, we're excited for this team and how they do.
Yeah, and even last year, the amount of close games they lost, like a few of those
Crazy.
games, 10 of those games could have gone the other way. So
Yeah.
you could argue this team was competitive last year and hopefully going to be more this year. But another thing to point out is Goran Dragic started game one and the
Yeah.
offense looked horrible. And then Gary Trent Jr. started game two and it looked a lot better. Now, like, I'm not saying that's 100% the reason it happened, but
Yeah.
both of us have been advocates for Trent in the starting lineup because while Dragic is more of a play creator, creating shots
Yeah.
for other people, Gary Trent Jr. is a play finisher.
Yeah. And it's more important that we have Dragic on that bench more than it's like Gary starting, because Dragic brings so much to the bench. He brings like a calming presence, which Fred has on the starting lineup. He calms them down. He like, even though he's missing every shot, like he calms them down. He tells them like, yo, we have to run this play, we have to run that play. And even like Malachi Flynn's not really in the lineup. The Toronto Rexdale guy, Banton, he's not really in the lineup as well. So Dragic is our backup point guard / shooting guard. Like he's gonna get a lot of those runs. So he just has to be a calming presence for when Freddie comes out of the game. And even while Freddie's in the game, sometimes you can calm Freddie down. And that's that veteran experience. And having that off the bench is probably best suited. Dragic was best off the bench. That's when he made that finals run where he was the leading scorer on that Heat. So he's used to that role. He's willing to, sacrifice, get to that role. Another player that stood out for me in game 2 was Boucher. Like, just not even like his stats or anything, but like, he'll have a block here and then a 3 there, and he'll just get like the energy going and stuff. So it's good to see him, still having those energy plays, big plays. And because both Boucher and Dragic are going to be in trade rumors this season till trade deadline, because they're both on 1-year deals and a championship contending team could use them. So they're going to be in trade rumors, and those guys, they're playing great right now. So hopefully they stick around.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here so you never miss the best clips from Stretch the Floor. Hit the links in the description below to find us on all podcast platforms, and follow us on Instagram.